religion can't possibly be the same as it used to be in traditional China up to the end of the 19th century, because the 20th century was really a very long and violent century of repression and forceful rearrangement of the religious field in China. Lots of things were destroyed and lost forever. Probably the higher monastic traditions that really needed lots of resources to be maintained and have been destroyed forever. They are still monasteries, but they are very different from what they used to be. On the other hand, the resilience of religious culture and knowledge is really impressive, and is much deeper than what even the most sympathetic scholars expected when the first religious life at the local level first re-emerged during the late 70s and 80s. Pilgrimages that have not been done for 60 or 80 years are not done anew, and the way they are done is extremely similar from what we know from written sources of the early 20th century, and that proves that people have orally kept the tradition and explained to their children and grandchildren how they used to do the pilgrimage and what kind of rituals and organization they needed to do this pilgrimage right. Even though they could not perform it themselves, they taught their children and grandchildren how to do it, and that's really quite impressive. So we have really both sides of the story, a very willful keeping of traditions, and at the same time lots of reinvention, adaptation, because the whole story is not one of repression and resistance, like secular state repressing religion and religion trying to resist and to maintain the memories so as to be able to revive when the conditions are right. Lots of religious leaders have actually accompanied this process of secularization, if you want to call it that way, by adapting and incorporating all the state discourse of getting rid of superstition, doing less ritual, doing more charity, being more modern, being more secular. And there's been lots of religious movements that have really gone with this trend. And we have a large part of the religious field in China now, including in the PRC and the other parts of the Chinese world, that were just not there 1 century ago. So we have had destruction, but we also have had the appearance of new forms of religious life, more global, transnational forms that are less tied to the local society.